It's Nick and Mike's top 100 games. But does anyone care what they have to say? Lit. I know I don't. Cause they may dab, they might scream, they may say some things that are plain wrong. Dab on it, dab on it. But they are dumb bing bongs. My teacher's better.
What is up, everybody? My name is Nick Murphy.
I'm Mike Murphy.
We are the Brothers Murph, and this is the continuation of our top 100 list.
Dude.
I feel like I've said that exact
Nick and Mike's
sentence
top 100
times.
games.
I know.
Let's
give it for Matthew Jude real quick.
Matthew Jude.
We'll give it up for him again in the top 10, because that's what most people are going to watch.
Yeah.
But
People, no one's watching this.
Yeah, exactly.
No one's watching this list.
But no, this is going to be 20 to 11, so we are getting very close. We're getting to the really good games now. All the rest of them were garbage.
We sold most of them on since we recorded.
Yeah, seriously, though, at this point.
Don't even trade and burn them.
Just burn them straight up. Yes, and so we'll get right into it, but we want to say, well, we usually saying that people keep saying that we're bot. We're not bot. No. We are our own people.
Yeah.
And that's it. So let's get on to number 20, I guess, huh?
Let's get at it right now.
20.
Nick.
What?
Do you know what Quadropple is missing?
What?
It is missing car washes.
I can say cars in general would be nice. That'd be a nice little expansion. Yeah.
It has everything. It's got skyscrapers. It's my number 20. It's got harbors. It's got stores.
Okay.
It's got civic buildings and parks and things.
It's true.
There's no cars in this very small world.
Yeah, what is it, New York, where no one has a car?
No, man, you know what? Yeah, it's just like, I feel like, what do you do if you have a dusty car and you're in Corsicana, Texas, Nick?
Ooh.
What could you possibly do to help the
I heard from
situation?
Days of Wonder that it's actually based in Corsicana, Texas.
Yes, it is.
Oh,
Quadropple
that
is
makes
based
more
in Corsicana.
sense
This is
then.
the official announcement that self-serve car washes are coming to Quadropolis near you.
Okay, cool.
If you live in Corsicana, Texas, if you live in an area where you don't need the area code for the phone number here because you just live in that town, so you know the area
very
code.
True.
That's the car wash.
Why isn't it on there?
I don't know. It's from olden days.
But 20, huh?
Number 20 is
Wow.
Quadropple.
I would thought this game would have been lower on your list.
Really?
Yeah. No, I know you like it a lot, but I didn't think it'd be top. I didn't think it'd break top 20 for you. Talk about it.
So Quadropple is a fantastic city building game.
It is.
Nick's talked about it before, where you're trying to draft these tiles essentially to add to your city, and there are things like apartment buildings and harbors and stores and all the things I talked about.
Yeah.
But it's this really cool system of you get four, if you're playing the basic version of the game, 4 numbers that you draft from this grid. So if you choose number 1 and you put it here in the top left corner, you can go 1 space in and grab only that thing in the corner. If you use the 3, you have to go 1, 2, 3 spaces in. So where you put these tiles really matters in terms of which piece of the city you can get, but then also determines where in your city board you have to place it. Because if I'm using a 4, it has to go somewhere either in the column of 4, the row of 4, the column of 4, in the 4th zone. So there's all these things to consider that make it that cool little puzzle.
Yeah.
It's just a great little city building game. I love city building games, and yeah, I guess like I figured it'd be like a mid game, but as the list is shaking out, I'm like, you know what?
Full support of this being
I quite like Quadropple. It's my number 20.
This is a great game that has been received well, but I feel like, especially compared to a lot of Days of Wonder games that tend to be very huge, I'm just like, I feel like it should be a little big. It's a great game,
especially we played for a long time just on the basic version. We just started playing the advanced version, which I like even more.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that's my number 20, Quadropple.
Cool. My number 20 is a game that Mike mentioned, I can't quite remember when.
Ages ago.
But it is a game with just the biggest and chunkiest of all dice, and that is Seasons. Seasons is a criminally under-talked about game.
Dude, clap it up for the chunk factor.
I know, right? The chunk factor. I always appreciate Tom, because I feel like Tom is one of the only people who talks about this game. I know it's always on his top 100 and stuff, but Seasons is a great little, I guess, engine builder game where you are rolling through the different seasons and you are rolling these dice, and the dice are just huge, just big old honkers.
Fat boys.
Big old fat boys. And these have different elements that you can get. So you get, water or fire or air or earth. That's the last one. And then you use those element tokens to then purchase cards and put them into play.
Yeah.
And it's pretty straightforward in that sense, but it's very, very cool because you're constantly moving seasons. So throughout the game, whatever die is left over that didn't get chosen, it'll have a certain amount of pips on there, and that's how much how far forward. Yeah, time moves forward. And so you can slow down the game or speed it up depending on what dice you draft. And then on top of that, like there's only I think 3 or 4 spots in each season. So the thing is, it's like you're in winter, and when you're rolling the winter dice, there's a lot of water on them. There's a little bit of earth, but there's like no fire and stuff like that. And then you roll, and then all of a sudden it swings into spring, and spring has a ton of earth on it and stuff. Yeah. So you're like waiting to get sometimes to a certain season because you're like, this card needs like 4 air tokens, but air is most prominent in fall.
Yeah.
So you're like, okay, I'm probably gonna have to wait to get there, but I'd like to play it now. And it's just, it's tough to balance all that.
Which cards to play to help get you more tokens. There's a little bit of engine building.
Yeah, totally.
Things that help you gain extra tokens and whatnot, and help transmute. You can transmute to crystals, which are your points.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's like a lot of really cool elements.
Yeah, and there's cards where a teeny bit of take that, not a lot, but like you can kind of mess people a little bit. It's a great game that no one talks about, and it's gorgeous. It's libellud. It's great. I love Seasons to Death.
Is it Bombix?
No, it's not Bombix. You thought it was Bombix.
Is it Bombix?
Sure it wasn't.
Are you sure you didn't make a big mistake and you looked very foolish?
I'm pretty sure that I'm cool.
I'm in a very public top 100. Are you sure that wasn't you that made that mistake?
Seasons by number 20.
I'll teach him.
And there you go. Thank you. By Bombix. Should we go to number 19?
Yes.
I'm gonna get sued by Labella tomorrow.
19.
All right, my number 19 is going to be a game. They're firecrackers? What is that? Are you cracking your knuckles? What is that?
Dude, it's this super sweet bubble wrap I got.
You got bubble wrap?
Yeah, I got a lot of it.
That's perfect. I think that's perfect. Hold on. Wrap my head up, because it's the game on mine is kind of a brain burner. It's a big, thinky, heavy game. So wrap me up so I can protect myself. Yeah. There we go. That's good.
Safety first and the brothers.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Perfect. That's good. Okay. Let's get a little dangerous.
Open your mouth.
Okay, so.
Open your mouth. Okay.
My number 19, Mikey. I'm guessing it must be higher on your list because you haven't talked about it yet. My number 19 is going. Okay, I can't see.
You look like the Elephant Man.
My number 19 is Look, now it's like a hat. Now I look cool. Oh, dude, this is where it's at right here. Okay, so my number 19 is a game that is all about a theme that I thought was going to be the most boring theme on the planet, and it turns out I really like it. And that is a game where you are running cattle to Kansas City.
Oh, wow.
It is a game called Great Western Trail. Oh, it's like a scarf, too, so I'm warm in the winter. Oh, this is great. Look at this.
I am significantally surprised by
I look like that blue lady in Star Wars. She's got the weird tentacle head, head. Yeah. So, Karen?
You look like a gothic...
Mike's girlfriend is laughing.
You look like a gothic, erotic painting of a queen.
Good. That's the chic I'm generally going for, yeah. So this is Great Western Trail. Great Western Trail is a great game by Alexander Pfister, and it's a game about running cattle in Kansas City.
I thought this was going to be higher.
It has the potential to go higher, but not right now. I do really like this game. This is a game that, I didn't really give a chance. I did not think I was going to like it because originally the theme did not do anything for me. And now they've played a few times.
Prior to playing it, or as you were playing it the first time?
Prior to playing.
So before you ever gave it a chance.
And then after playing it, I actually really like them because there's a lot of Western games, but there's not games about, cattle farming.
About what most people's life were like during the...
Yeah, there's very few, gunslingers. People mostly were I'm trying to feed my family. So I'm running cattle to Kansas City. And so that's a game, but it's a pretty heavy game. There's a lot going on, really thinky. And it's a game that I just didn't think I was going to like. And I fumbled through it with a couple friends, both of which had played once, a long time ago. So we had a good time going through it and stuff. And then I was just like, you know what? I think I'm going to really like this. So we got it. And then I was like, you know what, Mike? I think you're really going to like this game. And we played it, and man, we love it. I love this game. I really do. It's a toughie because it's a thinker, and I'm not very good at it, but I really enjoy it a lot. It's great.
Right. We'll see if it makes an appearance on my list.
Yeah, dude.
You look so safe.
Yeah, that's a game. Yeah, that's good, dude. That's great, man. Look, I can't feel anything, dude. I can't feel anything. My vision's going in and out, but I can't feel anything.
This eye's in focus and this eye's in focus, but never at the same time.
Continue, my brother.
My number 19 has been mentioned by you before. It's a great introduction to deck building game because you're not really thinking of the fact that you're building a deck much. You're just trying to get through a jungle in the quest for El Dorado.
Wow, really, huh?
I really like it, man. I love how light it is, how accessible it is, and how like fun it is to try to like if you get the right cards in the right order, you just like start just cutting right through the jungle. You're running through the jungle.
You know, it's like a forest. Forests are really humid. You know what's really humid? Just right here,
right up in there.
Getting real hot.
They don't breathe at all.
This part of my body is gonna be so ripped by the end of this top 10, dude.
Just no water weight at all. Just a ripped forehead. And yeah, so like. I just love the idea of like putting together these different tiles to create maps for yourself, and you're trying to get to El Dorado, and you're trying to put together the cards. And the thing I like about it is you'll ultimately in a game buy what, like 7-8 cards?
It's not that much, honestly,
not that many because there's a lot of cards that are one-time use. Yeah. And at first I was very hesitant because I was like, oh, I don't want to like have a card, but now I'm like, give it. Yeah. I don't want to get that deck flow.
Well, and also you need your money to get through certain parts of the board.
Yeah. So it's such an interesting thing of like sometimes you're buying cards, sometimes you're using your money to get through markets because all the spaces are either, you know, a jungle space, you need machete symbols, you need money symbols, you need water symbols across the water. Someone you just discard random cards and like it's just really fun. Yeah. I've enjoyed it every single time we played. The first time we played, I liked it. We've played it several times with various different types of folks. Yeah. And it always goes down smooth and gives me that feeling of like a real race, a real great racing game that's usually pretty tight. Like by the end, it's like everyone. You never really because there'll be like a moment where like you just get the right hands and you go way far ahead, and you think like there's no way they're catching up. But then slowly but surely, everyone starts creeping up on you, and then someone else makes their run. You know, and it's a super fun game. Yeah. So that's my number 19. Is just the Quest for El Dorado. Super excited for that expansion that's coming out. Cannot wait to play that. There's dance parties. There's jungle raves. You can get a puma as a pet. It's great.
I'm very excited for the expansion.
Can't wait. So Quest for El Dorado, my number 19.
All right, cool. Let's get number 18.
Let's get this off your head before you.
It's so hot. It's so hot.
Freedom. Number 18.
Number 18.
18.
What's your number 18, Mikey? Mikey, hit us. Hit us hard.
Okay, Nick. You know what I like? We were talking about Quest for El Dorado just now. You're adventuring in a jungle. You ever want to be like in Quest for El Dorado? It's like a bird's eye view, and you're watching from high above. Do you ever want to zoom in to the jungle floor and be in the middle of the mystery that is the 7th continent?
Oh, it's like what are you talking about?
That guy did that, huh?
Okay, really? I thought this may crack your top 10. I'm not surprised it's here either, but I was like, this may crack his top 10.
Yeah,
okay.
It depends. And maybe depending on like a year where we're playing it more or something, I don't know. But it's right up there. So my number 18 is 7th Continent.
Okay.
It's a great game where you're basically wash up on shore of an island or crash land or whatever the scenario may be. And you just have kind of like, you always wake up in a daze. You can't quite remember like, how you got here. There's certain clues to like people that you were with.
Face tattoos you don't remember getting.
Face tattoos, yeah. And you're trying to basically get rid of a curse that's following you around. Yeah. And there are different curses. And
he keeps casting these curses, but you keep getting them.
I know, you keep getting them here, so everything's foggy.
It's a big issue.
There's a number of curses which basically are different scenarios you play through. It's kind of legacy campaign-ish. Like once you play through one curse, you're going to be done with that curse. Yeah. But it's modular. You can pick up another curse. And the cool thing is that you're going through and exploring this island. But for all the different curses, you're on the same island. Yeah. So you're going to go over the same terrain over and over again. But all of a sudden, you notice something that's like, wait. Now that we're doing this curse and stuff, now this thing means this like big statue. Yeah. Like that makes sense. Maybe let's go explore it. Where before you're like, oh, that's cool, that's weird, that doesn't mean anything to me. Let's move on here. And so, like the familiarity that you gain with the terrain only heightens the game.
Yes, exactly. You think it'd be the opposite, but it's not.
Yeah, and it kind of thematically makes sense because as you keep coming up on this island, the idea is that you're putting together more and more pieces of the puzzle of your brain that kind of got washed away, and so like it thematically really does put you into the footsteps of these people. You're like, I remember that one area. I remember that, and like that's what that character would be going through if this was like a movie or something.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, 7th Continent's just really fun. It's one of those we'll like play through a curse and then like get done where it's like, and then we like won't play it for like 4 months. Yeah, and eventually we're like,
I think we'll get back on the continent.
Think about going back on the continent. What do you think?
Yeah.
Yep. Let's go. We go play it again. So it's like a great game that's going to kind of give and give for a long time because of those kind of built-in breaks that you'll take.
Yeah, I haven't gotten tired of it at all, honestly. Yeah. And it's like we've locked in. Some of the curses are hard, and it's like you locked in a lot of hours, but I love it.
Yeah.
Coolio, my number 18, I was for some reason I had this premonition. I was like, we're gonna cross over on this number. I was wrong. Turns out, my number 18 is Ticket to Ride Nordic Countries.
Oh,
for some reason I was like, when I was looking at my thing, I was like,
moment.
this is gonna be it. We're gonna cross over the same number, which may happen later. But I was very
it's
excited.
gonna happen once, but between now and
we have very similar tastes in games, so like there's gonna be a lot of crossover in the top 20. But Ticket to Ride Nordic Countries, I'm guaranteeing will be higher on his list because it hasn't come up yet. Ticket to Ride Nordic Countries is my favorite version of Ticket to Ride. Ticket to Ride, it's just pretty much the same part normal Ticket to Ride, but it's set in Scandinavia, so it's part of Denmark and then Norway, Finland, and Sweden, and it's 2 to 3 players only. Because that's my biggest problem with like Ticket to Ride Europe or Ticket to Ride USA map is if you're playing with like 2 players, it's not very contentious. There's not much. There's not much vying for routes.
You're not worried about it,
which is fine if you want to play like a less kind of cutthroat game. But one thing I like about Ticket to Ride, because I am not a mean gamer, neither is you, I really don't like being mean in games. But with Ticket to Ride, the thing I like about it is you just don't have a choice. You're like, look, I gotta get to Helsinki. And I'm sorry, but I'm taking this yellow route to Helsinki, and I know it's going to block you out, but I have to go there. So it doesn't feel like I'm being mean. It's just kind of like, that's kind of how the game is. Mm-hmm. So Ticket to Ride Nordic Countries I love because even at 2 players, it's a small map, and you're just going to get in each other's way, and it's love that map.
It's hard to navigate because there's a lot of waterways you have to cross.
Yes, so you need locomotives. Yeah, it's really tough. There's also tunnels, and tunnels can be tough. It's got a lot of the stuff from Ticket to Ride Europe in that sense, with like tunnels and such.
Yeah.
But then on top of that, we're both Norwegian. Both of our family, I said both of our families as if the families are different. They're not.
They're a lot of our families of Norway.
Yes. A lot of our families still back in Norway and stuff like that. We've gone to visit them before.
Yep.
And so it's that one also, it's super Christmassy.
Yeah.
Like it's very Christmassy. It's got snow and like kind of like a Santa Claus.
Play it this time of year for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
It just fits.
So I just love it. It's by far my favorite map. Ultimately, it's pretty similar to normal Ticket to Ride, but it is a standalone game. So Ticket to Ride Nordic Countries is my number 18.
Pow, good call, man. Let's go into number 17 on that note.
Let's do it.
With a little Christmas cheer. Nordic countries, Ticket to Ride, you play sets of cards. Have extra low mocha.
17.
Time for number 17. Black & Decker.
Why do we have 2 drills?
Because it's super cool, like dual wield while you're working on stuff. You can like a whole house just got done.
Okay.
Just feel more manly if I have both of these and then just a huge work belt.
So your masculinity is based around having more than 1 drill?
100%. But I've got a rainbow penguin sticker on one, so that's like nice.
Cool. I'm done. All right. Number 17. My number 17 is, I just looked at it, let me double check. Cool. My number 17 is a game that is can be played competitively, but ultimately I pretty much exclusively want to play it cooperatively now, and that is a game called Stop Thief.
Oh, yeah.
Stop Thief is such a good game. We talked about it before. A Restoration Games game where you are going around and you're trying to catch thieves, but you're going, everything is done through audio clues. It's run through an app that's really, really great. And essentially, there's 4 different buildings on the board, and there's a whole bunch of different numbers. And this group of thieves are rolling around from number to number to number to number. And depending on where they are, they'll give an audio clue. So the app will be like, and that means they just moved onto a space of the door. You hear like, psh, and that means they just moved onto a space of the window. They're going through the windows. Thank you.
Sometimes you're doing construction.
Yeah, you know, there's Hank's construction in there. Yeah. And so it's really great. And so you have to deduce where they are based off of, okay, they went through a door and then they walked inside and then they went through another door and then they walked outside, then they went through a window, and you're trying to deduce where they are and you're trying to find them as a group. The competitive version is the same thing, except for you're all trying to be the ones to arrest the thief.
Right. You want to be first to the thief.
The reason I don't like the competitive one nearly as much is because one person can end up doing a lot of the work, but then like a lot of times it comes down to like, okay, we know they're here or they're here. And so, like, if Mike goes in and tries for, like, 156 and it was wrong, I know for a fact they're at 157. So then it's like, a lot of times, like, he'll do the work, but just because he drew badly in a 50-50...
And you never really... It's like, it's rare they're even going to get to a 50-50 shot. It's usually 1 out of 3.
So, yeah, so it's just like, to me, it's so... And then everyone on top of that, you don't really want to think out loud in the competitive game because then you're kind of giving away...
It makes it
where
too
you think
quiet of a game.
Yeah, whereas cooperative, everyone's talking. It plays just the same. It plays great. Everyone's talking, discussing. No, it could be here, and it's just the discussions of the game are wonderful. And this is a game that like I've been bringing out with a whole bunch of people, especially non-gamers, because it's cooperative. And on top of that, the game itself is very, very simple. You play a card that allows you to move a certain amount, and then you can like make an arrest if you want to. There's like not much to do in the game in terms of mechanics, but it's just great. Like we played it with our sister and her friend when they were here last, and like they like loved it and stuff. And it was just, I love this game. It's I love it so darn much, and I cannot wait. There's gonna be a 1 versus all version of the game coming out.
That's exciting.
In the app. There's gonna be like a solo version. I'm so excited. And so yeah, Stop Thief is my number 17. I absolutely adore it.
Nice. My number 17, I don't believe you've mentioned yet. I assume it's coming soon. And speaking of coming soon to you know what I love hearing about? It's the fall lineup of TV shows, man. So much potential. What's coming back? What got canceled? And is it fun to put yourself in the shoes of the people that make those choices of which star you're going to attach to shows, what ads you're going to run? My number 17 is the networks.
Wow. Okay.
Yes. Gil Hover.
Gil Hover. I love
Gil Hover.
Gil's a great guy.
He's a great guy. It's an awesome game where you're just running a TV network. And you've got 3 time slots. You got prime time. You got 8, 9, and 10.
How is this not a theme that's used more?
I don't know. Because
you
really
can
works.
use like so many mechanics on top of that theme. It'd be worker placement, engine building. What like? It's a theme that's so criminally underused in my opinion.
It totally works. I don't know what you would consider this game in terms of mechanics.
I honestly don't know either.
It's but basically a card game. You're putting down cards and you're putting different types of TV shows or sports shows and different themes, and you're putting them, and they all have like a preferred time slot. They prefer to be at 9 p.m.
Yep.
And you can attach celebrities to these, which will increase your viewers. You want to ultimately have the most viewers. The most viewers, is the winner.
TV station, yeah.
Yeah, and so it's just really fun, the idea of like putting ads on shows. Shows have requirements. They have to have 2 ads on them to be able to be played because it's the Super Bowl basically.
Yeah.
And every show is a really funny, clever parody of something we all know. So instead of the show Lost, we have Found.
Yeah.
And they're just like that kind of level of silly, and I love it. And then we have the Teletime expansion, which makes they're all British shows.
Yeah.
And then we have the network's executives expansion, where it gives you like a variable player power. It'll give you a really cool boost, but it also gives you a fairly significant drawback.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
It's really
love that
cool.
they do that. You're like, oh, this is a lot to consider.
The executive
man.
expansion is awesome.
It's really cool. So it's just a game that speaks to us, like living in LA and hearing about studios and stuff, and to put yourself in the shoes of those people. And I don't know, it's just a game that like is just better and better every time I play it. And now that we have networks executives, I feel like this might take a jump next year.
Yeah, it's definitely possible. For sure.
So anyway, that's my number whatever.
All right, number 17, right? Number 16, let's do it.
Right about now. Drill party. So, number 16...
It's brought to you by Totes Extend a Trunk. So when your trunk is too full and you got to extend it, you got to have a strap. Extend a trunk. Totes.
Yeah, and I know what you're saying. You're like, should I just buy a bungee cord? No, this costs way more money. Nick, should we buy this instead?
Totes. Obviously. Okay? Mike, here's your 16
Speaking of
words.
that, dude, you know what types of folks could really use extended trunks?
Who?
Castellers.
That checks out.
Because they need helmets. And those, you know what I mean? And if you're on a human pyramid, you might have more stability.
You gotta pull them down quick.
If you have some sort of pulley system, you can pull the kid right to the top.
That's true.
Castel is my number 16. It's a fantastic game by Renegade Games, I hope.
Wow, this is higher. It is, yes, Renegade Games. It is. Wow, this is even higher for you than it was for me.
I was surprised by that.
Wow.
I was really surprised by that.
I think
when you dropped it last list, I was like...
This one, for me, I think has potential to... be top 10 or 15 for me. But it's not quite there yet, but I was surprised I'm surprised it's hard for me. That's right. That's awesome.
I love hard and fast, baby.
Yeah,
when it comes to these board games. So Castel is all about building human pyramids. It is set in the regions of Spain where there are castellers. There's people, it's this long-standing tradition. They build human pyramids. They stack
Catalonia.
20 feet high, like 30 feet. It's crazy.
7 miles.
You still have like all these stout, burly people at the bottom, like pushing in, and then they start like building upward, all to the point where you have like literally a kid,
like
at the
5-year-old
top,
kids on
who's
top,
just like woo, who's got like a helmet on, like that's going to make a difference.
How do you say lit in Spanish?
I don't even know. What do you say? La luz is like the lights. Anyway. Cool. It's just a fun puzzle game, really. Because you're trying to put together Castellers, and there's all these rules about how your pyramid has to be built.
Yes.
You can't just build it all the same width. You have to kind of go in, but then you can train in certain areas to make it so that you can have 2 levels that are the same width.
Yep.
You can have 3 levels of the same width if you train that again. You can do things like strength, so that you might have 2 people who are of different values, like a 7 and an 8, but are of the same size. The physical token is the same size, and they can start doing things. You can mix stuff together. There's all these areas that you can basically get more versatility and break the rules of your pyramid to build bigger and better pyramids. And there's this cool mechanism of like walking around these areas of Spain to recruit Castellers to participate in competitions. And each competition is going to require that you have certain types of Castellers, big or small. And so you can't compete in those unless you have at least one of each of those. But the more you have, the better you are in that showing. There's just a lot to think about. And then just like thinky. It's thinky, building that little human pyramid and trying to reconfigure it. There's just a lot to do and a lot of stuff to think about, but it's ultimately a pretty snappy game.
It's not too bad,
especially like a 2-3 player count, which I really like. It's a quick one, but it's a fun puzzle game.
It's a great game.
I really like. I like the aesthetic of it. I like the look, and just want to, like, you think it could become a top 10, 15 game with more plays. It could go up for me, but the point is I want to play it more.
Yes, exactly.
Every time we play it, I'm just like, man, I really like this game. I want to play it more. And I think that's going to continue to grow that feeling.
Yeah, I think so too.
So anyway, that's my 16.
Cool. My number 16 is a city building game. My favorite city building game, I think. And that is Suburbia. Suburbia is my number 16. I love Suburbia. Suburbia was one of the first like hobby board games I played. And it was before we started gaming. I was over at our cousin Sarah's house.
Yeah, that's right.
And she liked board games, and I think we had been playing like Pandemic, maybe some Catan, and that's it. And I played Suburbia there, and then I didn't play it for like years afterwards, but I remembered it, and because I'd never played a game like Suburbia. With Suburbia, you're building your own suburb, and you have these hexagonal tiles, and you're drafting them, and then putting it in there. And like a lot of city building games, depending on what you put it next to, directly affects that. So you want to put a movie theater next to a residential area because those are the people who are going to go to the movie theater. You don't want to put it next to a farm because like who's going to go? The sheep? Whatever. But so Suburbia is a great game, and it's just, it's one of those games that like, for some reason I'm always just like, someday this is going to go down for me. Like it's going to start slipping.
The inevitable.
And it hasn't. If anything, it's gone higher. Like I like it more and more and more. And like Castles of Magic and Ludwig came out, and that's kind of similar, but like I just like this one so much better because of the simplicity of it. And it's just, I don't know, I dig it. And I love, we talk about Stone Age, we talk about this, games that are subtly thematic. This one is so subtly thematic, because everyone hates on the look of it, because it's very bland. But at the same time, so are Suburbs. To me, I love the look of it. You
totally sold me on the look of it when you brought that up. I was like, that's brilliant.
It makes total sense. It's like this kind of like...
You're not going to have like a neon city?
Yeah, no, exactly. It's not going to look cool. Like, it's a suburb. It sucks. It's like, it's cul-de-sacs and such. But it's like, I love that about it. I honestly love the look, and I just love how everyone's borough looks so different by the end of it. And every single tile makes sense in terms of like what you put it next to. You're like, oh, this parking lot is worth a lot more if you put it next to like yellow buildings, which tend to be like kind of factories and stuff, and then blue buildings, which tend to be like office buildings and stuff.
People need somewhere to park.
Yeah, because you need somewhere to park. Freeways, you want to put next to blue buildings because that's where people are going to work.
Don't want to put it next to a residential area because people don't want a freeway over their house.
Airports, you don't want to put next to residential. Everything is thought about, and everything makes sense, and I love it. It's one of the most subtly thematic games I've ever played, and I absolutely adore Suburbia. Want to keep playing it? I'm going to keep playing it.
Do it.
Shocker. Boom. Number 16, Suburbia.
Nicely done, dude. Let's do 15.
Let's do it. I'm ready. I'm done.
I'm ready.
15.
Oh, I'm so tired, Mike. We've done so many of these, and we're like at 15, which is great, but I'm running out of juice, man. I'm running out of juice, but you know what? I'm gonna be good. I'm good because you know what? I got interstate batteries, Mike. Interstate batteries keep my car a chugging along for years.
Well, like how long?
I've had interstate battery for 36 years.
You've had the same interstate battery for 36 years?
I had one in the womb. Still got the same one.
That is outrageously dependable, Nick.
Outrageously dependable. My number 15 is something that I figured would be higher on your list, but it was a little bit lower, and that is a game called Gran Austria Hotel.
Yeah.
I also let me double check right now.
Sometimes I get jealous of where your stuff is placed. I'm kind of like,
I know exactly
oh
what you
man,
mean.
yeah.
This is also the highest game that's on my list that we don't own. Which is, I was thinking about that earlier. But Grand Austria Hotel is a game where you are running a hotel in Austria. Whoa, Austria, Ohio. And so you are getting guests, and your hotel is above, but at the bottom you have a little cafe. And your cafe can hold 3 guests. So when you draft guests, your guest is going to want something, some kind of food. So they're going to want wine, coffee, streusel, or cake. Mm-hmm. And you essentially have to give them what they want, and then if you please them, essentially you give them, like, I want 2 wine and 2 streusel. If you meet their needs, then they will stay in your hotel. But you have to make sure you have an open room in your hotel to put them in, and they all have different colors. It's like red, blue, yellow, and green.
Yep.
So only red people can go into the red doors. Only yellow dress people can go in the yellow doors. Green people can go wherever. And then each one of them has like a little special ability. When you put them in your hotel, you get like a one-time little effect. Yep. You can get staff that give you like one-time effects or like ongoing effects. There's just a lot going on in this game, and it's really, really great. It's a game I love it because it's like, it's 2 to 4, but it's, in my opinion, I'm like, this is best at 2.
Yeah.
Because it's a snake draft where it goes like 1, 2, 2, 1, essentially. So like, I'll go, then Mike goes again, then I go. It goes whoop, whoop. So 4 people, it's tough because you go first, you're going first and then 8th. And it takes a while to get back to you. And then a lot of times by the time it gets back to you, like, everything's kind of decimated. And so, like, it's very interesting. It's got a really interesting dice selection mechanic that is really great. Mike talked about it. I'm not going to go forever about it, but
it's a brutal game, man.
In a good way. In a good way. It's tough. It's hard to get the stuff you need to get done.
Yeah.
But I played it once, and I literally, it's one of those times where I was just like, I cannot wait to show Mike this game.
Yeah.
It's just like, I know you really well.
It didn't disappoint.
I was like, Mike is going to freaking love this game. And we played at our local game cafe, and literally right after you were like, you want to roll it back? And I was like, yeah, sure. And we rolled it back and played it again right afterwards.
Doesn't happen very often.
Not very often, especially with like kind of a medium weight game like that. Yeah. And so I love Grand Austria Hotel. It's very possible it could go up from here. I love it. It's outstanding.
The only thing holding it back for me so far is that we don't own it.
We didn't play it very much.
We play it often.
Yeah.
Good on you, man. My number 15 has been mentioned by you before. It's a worker placement game, but it's a life building game. It's a fantasy game in the greatest sense. It is the pursuit of happiness.
Pursuit of happiness.
It is. What if the game of life was turned into a midweight Euro?
Yeah, pretty much.
And it's just tons of fun, man.
It's so much fun.
So it's a worker placement game where you're going through the life of whatever person you're creating, and you are just trying to have the happiest life possible. Long-term happiness is your victory points.
Yeah.
And you can achieve this any number of ways.
Really, any way you want.
You can take on projects. You can start doing activities. You can buy stuff. Yeah. You can find partners. You can get jobs. But the thing that we love about it that we talked about when it came up on your list is that the game doesn't push you in any one direction.
No, not at all.
And each direction you may go is a viable one. And I love that about the game, that there's no agenda here. It's like if you want to have 3 wives, you want to have a husband and 2 wives, whatever, go for it, man. It might stress you out because you only have so much time, which is all your worker pawns are time. You're giving up your time, and how much time do you dedicate to this activity, to this project, to this person? But like there's been ones where I get a job and I just quit. For no reason. I was like, I want more time. I don't want to put that much time in my job. I'm gonna quit. And just like sort of drifted.
Yeah.
And joined a biker gang. And like won, you know what I mean?
A sweet biker gang husband. And you guys had a beautiful family.
I got a husband, started my family in my 70s, right before I died.
It was beautiful.
And it was amazing. You know what I mean? It was a great life. And the thing I like about it is that, like, who cares who wins? Just make an interesting, fun life.
Yes.
And it's just like they do really smart things where the jobs are all double-sided, so they'll be the same level in the same like area. There's like arts jobs and science and things like that, but they give you different flavors. So you can be a CEO, or you can be
the head of a nonprofit, or something like that.
It gives you different flavors. Same thing with the partners. The partners have certain needs and stuff, but they're all male and female, so you can really you can flip them freely to whatever you want.
Yeah, because they're all the same, so it
whatever
doesn't matter.
Life you want to make it
exactly.
It's fantastic.
This is the game. This is maybe like the funnest game we have, and what I mean by fun is like, because I think fun and enjoyment are linked, but are not the same thing. Because there's some games I enjoy because they're heavy and they're thinky and stuff.
Yeah.
But in terms of just sheer fun, this may be the funnest
that still
game we have.
is like not a party.
Totally, not like a
crazy
stacking
coconuts type game.
It is so much fun.
Yeah,
That's just
I agree.
straight up what it is.
Just to laugh about like what life you're building and to like go
Just
off
really
on
get into it,
tangents,
yeah.
think about what it is.
Oh,
yeah,
it's best.
Can't say enough
Love
about
it.
it, man. Number 15 is Pursuit of Happiness.
Get it.
Super 14.
14.
14. I'm going insane.
So my number 14 is a completely asymmetrical game. All about woodland creatures trying to take over a little swath of forest, man.
Wow, this
My number
high?
14 is Root. Root Gen Con release.
Wow.
Who knows what to say here, man?
I guess
I don't
I
know.
guess I didn't no, I think it's totally valid. I guess I just didn't realize you hadn't said it yet.
Yeah.
Because I'm always like, what games hasn't he said yet? You know,
Yeah.
kind of thing. Wow,
When it
that's
dusts off this
amazing.
list, I was
It's
just like,
great.
oh,
I
there's
mean,
Root.
I think it's going to go up for me for sure.
Yeah, Root's a really fun game where there's 4 factions you can be. There's a Marquita cat who's like kind of taking over the forest, and they basically have this like machine of war all built up. They have all this construction they're doing, and then you have like the eagles who used to rule the forest. Now they're trying to take over, but they can't like figure out who's going to lead them. We've got
all
the
messed
Woodland
up.
Alliance who are just like whispering about revolution and stuff, and like popping up places. You got the Vagabond who's just like, I'm gonna be friends with you, and then I'm gonna stab that guy, and then I'm gonna give him a card, and it's just like craziness.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so like it's basically you can learn 4 different games, but it has a little more access than Leader Games' previous vast the Crystal Caverns, and it's just really fun. It's interesting. I really like the art, and yeah, it's just an interesting game that I want to explore. Like I've played everything but the Vagabond. But I've only played them all like once, and so every time you get like a new faction, you're like,
It's a whole different game.
what should I do? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it's just it's cool. So that's my number 14, man. It's Root.
I love it. I
I
love it.
just
Love
want
it.
to keep exploring.
One of 14 was mentioned by you, I think, last list or maybe the list before that. But this is the game that definitely me, but I think both of us this is the game that we are the. This is my evangelism game. This is the game that like I am constantly on a crusade to get
need to
more
play
people to play
this.
this game, and this is a game called Histrio.
Yeah.
Histrio is such a good game, and no one talks about it.
No one talks
plays
about
of it. It lays it, and it's just this is like my evangelism game where I'm always on my soapbox.
It's
like, play Histrio, play Histrio.
It's overproduced.
It's exactly. Oh gosh, too bad games look good. And
to look so great.
Bruno Katutu, obviously the Brugels Katugels.
Dude.
So
Brooks and Katooks.
I know, I love him to death, Bruno Catala. But this is a game where you're putting on a play for the king, and it's this beautiful anthropomorphized animals, gorgeous art. I mean, just really, really wonderful. And you're putting on a play for the king. The king's either going to want a comedy or a tragedy, but his mood kind of keeps switching. And you can affect his mood. You can make him want a tragedy based off what play you're getting. And you're going around to these 8 cities and collecting players. You're collecting, just actors and actresses and stuff and getting more. And they always come in either comedians or tragedians. And so you are building your troupe towards one of those for the most part. You're like, okay, I'm a comedy troupe. We do comedy stuff, or I'm all tragedy. So you want to make sure the king wants the kind of play that you're going to put on.
Yeah.
And it's just this amazing, fun, simultaneous selection game where everyone's selecting what city they're going to go to secretly, and then you all play at the same time. And then if you both go to the same place, no one gets any of the people, and you get like a secret objective, which is a nice thing because you're not like hosed. You get something out of it. And it's just great. It's quick. It's easy. It's like, with teaching 30 minutes, maybe
Very
45
quick.
if you're playing a little slower.
Right, yeah.
But I mean, it's just great. My biggest problem with it is like the fact that you really need 3 players for it.
Yeah.
It's
that's
fine
tough.
with 2, but like it's best with 3 and 4. It plays to 5, but I don't like playing with 5 because it's too crowded at that point.
It's really hard to not be in the same place.
Yeah, it's really hard. There's only 8 spots and there's 5 of you. So like people are going to go to the same spot.
And there's the problem, not the problem, but it's like, say you go to the 8th city, that card is gone for a good while.
Yeah.
Like you might be able to go to another city to get your cards back. So it's like, what if you're the only one that's gone to 8
Yeah.
and meanwhile everyone else is trying to go to 7 through 1 and you're like, well...
Yeah. Well, because there's a card that gets played at the beginning of each round. A card gets played at each location. Yeah. But if no one takes those cards get played to each location every round. So they start stacking. So some
it's
spots
real
become
attractive.
really attractive. And it's just like, it gets a little too tough for 5 players. But I love this game. I love it. I don't care that it's overproduced. I love that it's overproduced.
It's fantastic.
It's so unnecessarily overproduced. I
It's
love
ultimately
every
light,
second of it.
beautiful, and just a fun theme.
It's amazing.
Yeah, and it's quick, man.
It's my number one evangelism game. History on number 14. I love
People
it.
should play it.
Do it. 14. Let's move on to 13.
Gosh, do it.
Unlucky.
13.
Playing with the toy elephant, yeah, it's kind of like a guitar.
Young man, how are you?
Why are you in my house?
Don't worry about that. Are you having fun?
I'm having a ton of fun, yeah. I've got a
Would you
elevator.
like to have elephant?
What are you looking at?
Don't worry about that. Do you want me to make this elephant more fun than ever could be in your life?
Better than an elephant guitar? Go ahead.
Yes,
try.
right here. Okay.
Oh, whoa! You just ripped that elephant's face off!
No, I'm putting butterflies
you're
inside. There's butterflies inside.
Why do you want to put butterflies inside
Because
an elephant? They
they-
don't go in there.
Look.
What's wrong with it? Is it sick?
No, it's fine. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
You're sick, man. I'm gonna report you to PETA, bro. Yeah, butterfly torture, elephant torture, 2 for 2. 2 for 2. That one was weird. That one only worked a little bit. I'm so worried about this elephant.
It's having such a hard. What's wrong with you? Number 13. My number 13 is a game that it might be my favorite theme of all time in a game. This is a game that was criminally low on Mike's list, and that is the Prodigals Club. The Prodigals Club is my number 13. I love the Prodigals Club. It is such a good game.
You do love that game,
I do.
man.
I love this game. I mean, honestly, I think it could go up from here. I love it so much. The Prodigals Club is a game by Vladimir Suchin, a
fantastic.
CGE game. It's a worker placement game, and it's a kind of a sequel to the game Last Will. And I like it a lot more than Last Will. So does he, because Last Will has a really awkward like turn/action selection thing that like bogs the game down.
Seemingly random, yeah.
And like Prodigals Club has everything in Last Will for the most part and adds more and then just like cleans up a lot of it. And so the Prodigals Club is a game where you are essentially trying to be the worst human on the planet.
Trying to be the worst.
I guess the theme is that you're super rich, but you realize that poor people have way more fun, I guess is the way it is. I don't know, it's weird. But nonetheless, it's like you're trying to lose an election, you're trying to get rid of all your friends and lose all of your money.
Yep.
And there's all these different ways you can do it, like how you can lose an election. You can get super hammered and go to the middle of Hyde Park and be like, just tax everybody for no reason.
We need to get rid of all the birds.
No more birds.
They're just like, I don't like this guy.
Yeah, exactly. You can just like go give like a drunken speech. You can like go to a restaurant and just be super rude and just like piss off all your friends and just like
go down to your very
it's just
social circles.
You're like buying horses for super high prices and then selling them for super low prices just to try to get rid of all your money. It's super weird.
Fantastic.
But just the theme is so well integrated in all terms of like, it's like, yeah, you could go here and just lose votes, but no, you're going there and you're wearing like a bright green suit. And people are like, that suit's off-putting. I don't like him anymore. Don't vote for that man.
Yeah.
It's like, it's so thematic and so fun. But on top of that, it's like a decently heavy,
It's
like
heavy,
worker
dude.
placement game.
I'll say if you're playing all 3 modules specifically, it's legitimately heavy.
Because
it's not even mid.
it's got that mechanic where there's 3 things. Again, lose an election, lose your friends, lose your money. Whatever one of those you did the worst in, that's your score for the
Yeah.
game.
So
And this is
gotta
whatever is
balance.
your highest score. You don't want a high score, you want a low score. So the thing is, like, if you lose all your friends, lose all your money, but you do pretty well in the election, that's your score. And that means you're probably going to lose because you didn't do very well. So you have to balance all 3 and bring them all down. And it's really hard. I love this game. I want to play it every day for the rest of my life.
Let's do it.
I love it. I love it. Prodigals Club is amazing. If you haven't tried it, try it for the theme alone. But on top of that, if you like kind of meaty worker placement games, do it. Do yourself a favor and do it.
It's pretty agonizing because you're just not, you're going to feel desperate. Like, I can't get all this done.
Yeah.
I can't be that
Especially
bad.
the first half of the game, you're like, how am I going to do this? And
And
you
you
always end up
start
getting it
rallying.
done.
Yeah.
You always end up getting it done. But man, it feels real hopeless in the beginning. But I love it. Prodigals Club, excruciating. Oh.
It's a fantastic game.
Yes.
Good call, man.
13, babe.
Let's do it.
You're 13.
I mean, yeah, that's what I'm going to do it.
Right?
I'm
You haven't done
talking
13
about this? Dang, I feel like I talked about this. This is a fantastic game, and I feel like I'm going to make Nick mad right now. Nick, what do I love just about more than anything?
I'm worried. Eggnog.
Yes. And there's so many eggnog-based games. What sport do I like more than anything, Nick?
What?
I know. What sport?
Baseball.
Baseball.
This is this low on your list?
It's number
13. Wow, maybe one. No, that's fine.
My
13. Wow, I figured
13.
I figured this would crack your top 10. But
I almost did. It's baseball.
I thought you liked baseball.
Highlights 2045. I love baseball.
you're not allowed to play the Giants anymore.
What? You better take that back. I'm still going to draft Mad Bum, whatever his
name is.
mix
Come on.
is. That.
Baseball Highlights 2045.
Baseball Highlights 2045 is a sports game all about playing baseball, which is already a win in my book. But it is one of the coolest themes.
Yes.
And the kind of backstory that it gives you for like why the game is the way it is. It basically is saying, hey, baseball like fell out of favor with the people.
Yeah.
It became boring. Like people didn't care about it. Pretty accurate to real life.
It's kind of.
People were like, who cares? And so what they did was they started incorporating like robots. So like robots, it would be a robot pitcher that would just hurl the ball at like 120 miles an hour. And so like people couldn't like keep up, you know, and they made the game shorter. So like people started getting like cybernetic arms and things and becoming cyborgs so they could keep up and like swing fast enough. They'd have to like start swinging before the pitch even got
Like cybernetic legs so they can run super fast
they
and
can
jump
run
super high and catch. Yeah.
So that's just like, and that's all just the setup
It
for the
should be a
world.
movie.
It should be a
Yes.
movie. It would be a really cool movie. But it's playing a game of baseball where you play 6 cards for every game that represents 6 innings.
Mm-hmm.
And it's this cool thing of where you're playing defensively. I'm responding to what Nick did. He has threatened to hit 2 singles. And so I can play a card that allows me to catch both of those balls, but then I also want to threaten my own offense. Mm-hmm. So you're playing offensively and defensively at the same time, and there might be a time where you're like, I'm going to forego defending. I'm going to let him get his 2 hits, and I'm going to play this card, which is just going to get me like 3 hits.
Yeah.
But then he might like cancel all those. Meanwhile, he's hitting this other thing. So you're trying to like figure out like when to make your moves. Like how much of a hit can I take here and still overcome? It's this great like tug of war game.
Yeah.
That is like fantastic.
Yeah.
And I love the theme. I love the fan service on the cards. They're all like
Yes.
hybrids of like famous ball players
Yeah.
from past and present.
Yeah, and it's
Incredible
like it's a game that like I feel like you could really like even if you didn't play baseball because the
Yes.
mechanics are so cool.
100%.
But if you like baseball, this game is so
fun.
much better. Like
It's extra fun. So
Cool.
I love that game.
All right, that was 13.
Yes.
Move on to 12.
Let's do it.
12.
Number 12 is brought to you by that feeling that something is incredibly wrong, but you just can't quite place it.
Number 12, Mike.
Yeah, so my number 12 is a
Board game.
board game. It's the usurper of Machikoro. I don't know how to explain this game. It's an engine building game, I guess. It is space base, baby. Space base.
This high.
I love it, man.
You
It's
do.
so fun.
I love it too.
So Space Base is a game
Wow,
where
that's great.
you have these 12 ships docked, and they have numbers 1 through 12 on them. And then on your turn, you're going to roll 2 dice, and you're going to activate 1 or 2 of your ports, essentially. So you have number 1 through 12 because you can activate the face values of both of your dice.
Yep.
If I rolled a 6 and it was a 1 and 5, I could activate my 1 and my 5 or my 6.
Yep.
The higher numbers tend to be more valuable.
Generally, yeah.
But it's nice to be able to activate 2 things, especially in the early go. If numbers 1 through 6 all give you 1 coin, I'm going to activate the 1 and the 5, get 2 coins instead of 1.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So it's this cool game where it's really simple. You're going to get money, and then on your turn, you can buy a card to upgrade one of your 12 slots. Whatever slot that the card you just bought is for, say it's the 4th slot, you're going to take the original card, you're going to flip it upside down and put it underneath your board with just the tag showing up, and now the 4 will activate when someone else rolls it.
Yeah.
So all game long, you're activated, you're doing things, you're moving your money up, you're gaining victory points and stuff based on what you're rolling, what other people are rolling. And on your turn, you just roll the dice, get some stuff, buy some stuff if you want, and move on. And that's it. So the gameplay is great. From 2 to 5 players, I like it all player counts. I feel like it moves along, especially if you don't get too precious about it all. Because there's a lot of cards out at any point. And you see, we play with some AP type people who are like, I'm like, just buy a ship, you're in space. Just move on. Move on. Just get whatever card you get will be useful.
Yes.
Don't be too precious about it. Keep it moving fast, and the game is excellent because you're always engaged.
Yeah.
You don't want to put your phone out and stuff because you're going to like miss money because someone's going to roll something you could have gotten stuff for it, and that's on you. You weren't paying attention.
it's true.
So Space Base, my number 12.
All right, number 12, Mike. You're this close. My number 12 is Baseball Highlights 2045.
Oh, you're talking smack on me.
You like baseball more than me. I love baseball, but you are as much as I love baseball, you like it even more. We are very close. Baseball Highlight 2045, exactly what Mike said. I know, we're so close. Is just outstanding. The card play in terms of like every card does two things. It has the defensive thing that you do, and then the offensive thing that you do. I think is so interesting, and the fact that like you don't know what the other person has because it's a deck builder, and so you don't know what 6 cards they drew.
Yeah.
But you kind of know because the game takes place over mini games. So what we always do is you play a 5-game series, and it's 5 little mini games, and then you play the World Series. And basically, the 5 mini games just determines home field advantage, essentially.
Yeah, and it helps you it draft people and build up your deck and stuff. But
because in between each middle mini game, rather, each card also has a value that's recruitment value, and you get to essentially buy more people that are much more powerful, sometimes way more powerful. But the cool thing is when you buy them, they go directly on top of your deck. So you're going to have them next turn.
Yeah.
So the other people know this. He's like, he just got this guy who has like 3 home runs on it. But then you're like, when is he going to play it? You don't know when they're going to play it. And so you have to try to like anticipate what they do. And there's so much of the game that's like getting in the other player's head and trying to figure out what they're doing. I'm not going to go on. It's amazing. It's such
incredible game.
An intriguing game just based off mechanics. And then it's just got this really awesome futuristic doorbell baseball theme on top of it.
There's a great doorbell app.
Yeah, Doorbell app.
Boom.
12. Let's move on to 11. Who was that?
This was a bad idea. Why did I agree to do this? This was a silly thing to do. It's taken me all day and I'm very, very tired. 11. Oh!
Our number 11 is brought to you by
Cholula.
Tapatio.
Cholula hot sauce.
It's
Cholula.
Tapatio.
It's Cholula hot sauce. Ever heard of it? They make stuff hotter. Yeah, except for Cholula is what we in this house.
Tapatio, okay?
All right, listen here. You know what? You're gonna fight over this. You want to look at that? Look at her. Look at her. She wants. You want your hair?
How happy he is.
No, listen. We're gonna drink some Cholula. I'm gonna put Cholula in your eye.
What do you like better? Don't you dare say sriracha.
Don't you dare. Sriracha's not even sriracha. It's rooster sauce.
Yeah. Okay.
Put your favorite hot sauce in the comments below. Nick, go ahead and talk about your 11.
This is an important one in my opinion because this is the one that just missed your top 10. And that's tough. That's a toughie for this one. But my number 11 was mentioned by Mike sometime, I don't know, whatever time. But this is a game that also has one of my favorite themes on it of all time. It's a worker placement game by Vlad Chvátil, and it is Dungeon Pets. Dungeon Pets just missed the top 10, and I...
Looking over the fence at the top 10?
Being like, be cool.
Can't come play.
Be cool being that top 10, man. But it just wasn't. So Dungeon Pets is a great game, a worker placement game, deceptively heavy with the cutest little theme on it where you're essentially raising monster pets and you're selling them to dungeon lords. And the pets all have different needs. Like some need to eat a lot, some are really, really angry, some are super magical. So you have to build like cages and all these things and adapt to the kind of pets that you have. But then throughout the game, dungeon lords are coming through town and they're going to want to buy new pets. And some dungeon lords, they all want different stuff. Some want ones that eat a lot. Some want ones that are really angry. Some want ones that poop a lot. All sorts of different stuff. It's all over the place. And so then you have to like try and cater your pets to the dungeon lords and trying to make them as profitable as possible, I suppose, when you're
also
selling
doing
them.
like exhibitions, trying to show them off. And so the cool thing is you always know like what the next round's dungeon lords are going to be,
blind.
an exhibition, so you can really try to like make sure you're going to put on a good show.
Totally. So Dungeon Pets, Mike talked about it. It's great. It's a great game with such a fun theme. It was one of the first kind of like heavier games we got. Frankly, way too heavy for how experienced we were in gaming.
It used to hurt.
Yeah, it was tough. It was tough. So the number 11 is Dungeon Pets. Is my number 11.
Nice. My number 11 has been mentioned by you. This list you said I think is going to be higher on Mike's list. You were right. It is the ultimate version of Ticket to Ride. It is Ticket to Ride Nordic Countries.
That checks out.
I love it. I love the tightness of it. I love that it's perfect for 2 or 3 players. Like that's what it's built for. We often are playing games at 2 players, so I like that it creates that tightness. I like that it's about where we come from as people. I love the Christmassy vibe. I love playing it in July. It gives me a little excitement for the upcoming season. Not that LA has Christmassy seasons, but it's just I love the look and the aesthetic.
Yeah.
I love that you get black, purple, and white trains.
Oh, yeah.
The colors are amazing. And it's a difficult little map.
Yeah,
So
it's tough.
everything Nick said about it is true. it's my favorite by far. I love it. I love Ticket to Ride Nordic Countries. That's it,
fair.
folks. And that's it for this list. I think we need to do 10 to 1.
I think it's
I'm going to throw it out there, Nick, and say, you know what? The people want to see the top 10.
Indeed.
The people care about it a little bit.
Yeah.
I think we ought to give it to them.
I think it's fair.
We're not going to do it right now. It's going to be another video.
You have to wait for it.
But you can go watch it. It'll be out very soon.
Yes,
So
indeed.
check it out. If you like what we've been doing, we are the Brothers Murph. Please tell a friend about us. Please go and subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's at the Brothers Murph. It's right over here on the website that you're already on right now. And we'd love it if you come join us on Twitch as well to watch us play games live.
Indeed.
We love to play interactive stuff with y'all from wherever you are in the world. So please come on down for that. Any last thoughts, sir?
Nope, that's pretty much it. Do everything Mike said.
Do you care to change your mind about Cholula?
Sure don't.
Okay. Well, either way, we'll see y'all in the next section of this Top 100. Thanks for joining us. Cheers.
See you then.
Morons. This whole list, the ravings of two idiots. I added the song 'cause I'm an idiot. Those John Deere tractors are just hideous. Oh, who would want to be seen riding one of those when you'd be spraying some mad, sexy hair? Idiots. I added the song 'cause I'm a